Like I was talking with Alan Molina a couple of minutes ago, we need to achieve balance when it comes to our finances. We also need to achieve balance as we're just moving about, particularly as senior citizens. And that's what I talked about at GS Medical Supply, those things that will aid us in our movement.
Well, I'm Sutton. I work at GS Medical Supply Store. We're a medical supply company for the whole family. We have a different variety of medical supplies ranging from lift chairs, walkers, rollators, scooters, even therapeutic beds, just a whole range of items.
And I know you mentioned for the whole family, and that is important because we often think of a medical supply store as being for seniors only, but you have items here for children, you have items here for breastfeeding moms. I mean, you really cover pretty much anything that would be medically related to help people in their home.
That's right. That's right. We try to include the whole family in this and not limit it just to seniors.
Mobility is a big issue. Safe mobility, probably even a bigger issue. Would you introduce here your physical therapist with Generation Solutions?
Yes, this is Mike Palmer. He is the physical therapist for Generation Solutions, and he's going to here talk about some of the items we have.
Now, Mike, I know that none of us want to give up our mobility, whether we've got a broken leg we're recuperating from, or whether we're a senior, we're just losing a little bit of that stability that we used to have. Is it important for seniors to recognize when they need to have some assistance in their moving?
It's very important. Falls are a big problem. About 6 million older adults, 65 and older, fall each year. And about 2 million of those results in injury. And so it's important to not only understand you need an assistive device to help you, but you choose the right assistive device to support you.
Well, let's kind of work on up here as we talk about the different levels of mobility assistance. Obviously, you have the canes here. And I like these canes because you call these what? They're standing on their own.
They're called quad canes.
Quad canes, okay.
Basically what they do is they provide a little bit more support than a standard straight cane. And the quad cane comes in two different sizes, a wide base quad cane and a small base quad cane. And the difference between the two is just certain patients need that extra support for balance and will need the wide base cane. The advantage of the smaller base quad cane is it fits on a stair easily, so it works better if you're going up and down stairs or elevations.
Let's walk over here and talk about rollators. And you have a couple of different kinds here. Now, this is actually a walker, and I guess the difference between a walker and a rollator, no wheels, wheels.
Right. Actually, there's walkers that are standard walkers, and there are walkers with wheels, rolling walkers. This is a standard walker, very good for a patient who has weakness or has difficulty, again, with balance, provides a bigger base of support than a cane. The advantage of the rollator of a rolling walker is the rolling walker can be advanced without having to lift it. And for patients who are weaker, have problems with their arm strength, it can be hard to advance a standard walker, easier to roll the rolling walker.
As a physical therapist, is it important for an individual not to immediately jump to some kind of a chair because they want to continue having that balance and keeping up that physical strength as long as they can?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You want the patient to basically use a device that's going to keep them the most mobile. And so if whatever device they can use to keep them walking, that's going to be preferred to being in a wheelchair where they're not going to be walking and they're going to be sitting more.
Tell me about these here as we walk on down this display here at GS Medical Supply on Langhorne Road. What do we have here?
Well, we have rollators here, and the advantage of the rollator over the rolling walker is really two things. The rollator, first of all, can be locked. So there are locks you can put on the rollator to keep it stable. And there's a seat that the patient can use to give them a chair if they're out walking a longer distance and just don't have a good place to sit down.
So if I'm using this chair, I'm walking along, I'm filling it up with groceries. If I want to sit down while I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, I can go ahead and do that, and I'm all good to go.
Absolutely.
When someone is purchasing these, size important?
Very important, and that's something that we'll do here at GS Medical Supply. We'll make sure that whatever device you're using, that it's fit appropriately for you. The thing with the rollator, besides the being able to lock it to sit, is it has handbrakes that can be used to slow it down if you're walking down an incline or down a ramp. But sizing is very, very important, and the right size for basically a walker, a rollator, or a cane is to have the handles come up to about the level of the hips, or if you have your arms down at the side, about to the level of your wrist bones. And that's just a good rule of thumb for how to size those devices correctly.
I'm going to continue my conversation taking a look at power scooters. In the meantime, you can learn more about GS Medical Supply Store by giving them a call at 434-485-7037. But if you can wait 2 minutes, I'll have more. You're watching LHOV. Continuing my visit at GS Medical Supply, located on Langhorne Road in Lynchburg, taking a look at ways to improve the mobility of seniors.
This is a standard wheelchair, but with an extra feature. This wheelchair also will double as what's called a transport chair. The wheelchair wheels can be removed, and so it'll double as not only just a wheelchair but a transport chair. The difference is that a wheelchair is something that a patient is going to try to propel on their own using their arms. When the wheels come off, now it becomes a transport chair that can be used by someone else to transport the patient easily. And this particular wheelchair is nice because it again functions both ways, folds up nicely to be able to transport it into a car easily.
Let's catch up with Sutton down here with the scooters, and of course this is powered mobility. And Sutton, I know we were talking before going into our conversation here. People can come in and actually sit down. They can scoot around the store here and check these things out, correct?
That's right. We encourage them to take a ride on it and make sure it fits them just right, because they're different sizes and scooters as well.
Now, I remember years ago, my in-laws had a scooter, and they had to get this, it's almost like a tow truck on the back of their Ford Explorer to be able to lift the thing up and put it in the back, and it was just real pain. You don't need that anymore, do you?
No, this scooter here on the floor is the exact same scooter you're standing by. It breaks down into these 4 pieces, very manageable, can fit in the trunk of a car, and they just snap back together.
Can you put it together?
I will show you.
So you got the scooter here, and it looks like it doesn't weigh much at all. So you're clipping it into the motor and the wheel mechanism at the back. The handle folds up in the front. Lock it down. Obviously, you can adjust that so the handles are forward or back to fit the person that's using it. Was that the battery pack you just installed there?
Battery.
And then, of course, the seat drops on here. And again, Mike, go ahead and come on over here. This needs to be, just like anything else here, this needs to be fitted. And it looks like all the different adjustments here will allow this to accommodate pretty much anyone that needs to use this.
That's right. And, a scooter is going to be specifically for someone who is not able to walk real far, but has a pretty good ability to transfer. They can get in and out of a seat pretty easily. Scooter's going to work very well for them. We also have powered wheelchairs, which is basically like the manual wheelchair we were showing before, but just powered so that it can be driven using usually a joystick control. And the powered wheelchair is going to be more for someone who needs more support in sitting and probably needs some help transferring in and out, whereas the scooter is going to be someone who can function at a little higher level, again, can get in and out of it pretty well on their own, but is not able to walk as far as they want to.
GS Medical Supply Store on Langhorne Road in Lynchburg, 434-485-7037.